Hey, welcome everybody to Double Dose MMA preview of UFC Fight Night Zalal versus Sterling. We're back at the Apex, and both of us are back from our 1 week hiatus. So, thank you, welcome, and let's get into it. Okay, as the name implies, first fight is Zalal going up against Sterling. Bad Jim, who do you have in this?
As you can tell by the cover, um, I'm looking at Zalal in a sleeper, and I don't mean in a submission way. These it's a weird matchup. We talked about this. Zalal should be able to outmuscle, out strength, out everything. Sterling before everybody starts screaming like I don't know what the f I'm talking about. At the end of the day, I know Sterling's moving up weight class, and someone out there is going to say that my least favorite words in all of MMA lighter man skill, which is literally the three dumbest words put into. There's no such thing. There's no physiology. The stats about people going up is dead even. It's a coin flip. Anytime someone goes up, it's a coin flip whether or not that lighter man skill works. It's just basically observational bias, like almost a recency bias. They did well here, or they didn't do well here. Therefore, we actually project and they do well once, but there really isn't such a thing. So Sterling is really going to be the victim of his age, his inactivity, and quite frankly, his style is kind of falling out of favor. There's going to be a lot of control time. Whereas Zalal's on a roll, he's coming in hot. He is capable of submissions. Whether or not he can do it against Aljamain Sterling of 4 years ago, Aljamain Sterling today is not the Aljamain Sterling of 4 years ago. We are looking at the hottest grappler to come up through feather. Right, sorry, I had Aljamain on the brain. This is going to be, though, unfortunately, because Aljamain still is quality, skill. He'll be able to be defensive enough to just grind this 5 round snooze fest to just a decision we all hate. But that's how he's going to play it. But youth is going to win out the decision. What do you think?
You know, I'm gonna go the other way with this. I'm gonna disagree with you. Listen, I think we have an exciting, polished up and comer in Zalal. But he's facing the former, like you said, bantamweight champ. Okay, and he was a very strong champ. Look, it's hard to argue that Sterling isn't at the end of his career at this point. Something that usually favors the young lion. But something troubles me with Zalal, and it's the way that he finishes most fights, and it's by way of submission. Okay, so he usually what he does is he stands on the outside. He uses leg kicks very well. He stays out of people's punches, and then he takes advantage of the clinch to drag them down. And if you notice, most of his wins are by rear naked choke. Okay, uh, I'm gonna go out and say that we all know that Aljamain Sterling's world is the ground game. Okay, so I see zero chance of Zalal choking out Sterling. Absolutely zero. Okay, in fact, Zalal does not want anything to do with Sterling's ground game. So what's he gonna do? Sterling is, you know, he's proven that he can be a stand-up fighter in the transitions and get people down. I mean, you're talking about somebody who beat Peter Yan, the monster that is Peter Yan. Okay, he took Peter Yan multiple times down. I mean, round after round in a 5 round fight. He's beat and fought the who's who. So, in short, Sterling has the resume, Zalal has the youth, but the styles make the fights. And I think for Zalal, who has not fought anywhere near the quality of opponents that Sterling has faced, this is a bad matchup of styles. Um, I'm going to go with Aljamain Sterling pulling out what we saw Paulo Costa do. Paulo Costa, I I picked against him. My bad. I thought that he was too old. I thought that he was moving up, and that was a a bad move on his part, and it turned out that actually, the time off for him and the rejuvenation of not having to cut actually extended his career. And I think that Sterling might be looking to do the same thing, taking Sterling by decision.
Now let's look at this for a second. How long ago did he fight Van Yan?
Oh, it was a long time ago. Yes, it was
4 years.
4 years ago, of
And
course.
so if we give him credit for that for 4 years ago, fine. Let's give credit to Zalal for taking Tapuria. Right? No, was that him who took Tapuria to a decision? Right? No. Yeah, he took Tapuria to a decision, and that was
Correct.
what, 5 years ago, six. I mean, it's like if we give credit like that to the past, and I agree with you, right? Like Zalal's not submitting Sterling, no matter what Sterling's done. How he's just going to be able to be defensive now. Understood. It's just 6 years ago,
No,
Zalal
it's not
takes
6 years
Tapuria.
ago.
What? Yeah, it's
Not
like
6 years
this
ago.
is all past. Today, who are these people? Zalal is on a ridiculous hot streak, and you're right. It's not. Look, it's not T.J. Dillashaw. It's not. I mean, look, you're right. Sterling fought the who's who of the division, though he
He
never
just
fought
lost to
Morab.
I mean, he lost to Evlov. Okay, that
That
is
is
his
true.
most recent loss, and Evlov is top of the food chain, right?
So, and
Is
look,
is
Zalal.
Zalal top of the food chain?
I don't think you have to be top of the food chain to beat Sterling today. But you know what? All great points. This is what's going to be fun. I'll say one thing. If I was Zalal in Zalal's corner, I would say you have one hope: shoot early, shoot often, get offensive. I know you said, I heard your words.
You
Hey, he
think
wants no
you
part
think
of it.
Zalal should shoot on Sterling? Oh my
Yeah,
goodness! I mean,
yeah,
that's a recipe
absolutely.
for
He doesn't have.
disaster.
He looks good on the feet,
Oh,
but looking good and actually enough power to keep Sterling on his feet to kind of like keep him at bay. If you're not shooting first, how did Yan get after Marab? Don't forget Yan shot on Marab. This is the same
yeah, but
school, right? I know. Hey, look, I get it. I'm not down. Look, Sterling in the
if he
day
shoots on
is
Sterling,
great.
it makes Sterling's night as easy as can be because Sterling wants to get close, wants to clinch, and he wants to go to the ground. And he's the better
See,
ground fighter, man.
we'll
He
see
just
if his
is.
cardio carries the extra weight for 5 rounds. This is his this is his biggest challenge at 5 rounds at this extra weight. Let's see if the cardio holds up. Let's see if he
I'm
went to
gonna
the
go
school
with
of Marab.
I'm gonna go with the opposite and say he carries the cardio because he doesn't have to cut down to
Good
135.
point. Yeah, good point.
And that is what's going to extend his career like Costa did. Okay, this brings us to the ladies. Okay, and so if you guys thought that the main card had a potential for a snooze fest, no, no, no. Here we have the number one potential for a snooze fest, unfortunately. We have Norma Dumont going up against Jocelyn Edwards. And thank goodness it's Edwards and not somebody else because then it would definitely be a snooze fest. Okay, Bad Jim, who do you have on these ladies?
Yeah, hey, I actually paid attention. And I'll just wait one thing. I've been watching enough ladies, women's MMA, sorry, WMMA, that the up and comers are phenomenal. I actually think in the next 3 years, we're going to see more exciting women's fights on occasion than men's fights. With that being said, we got to get rid of some of the dead weight. And if Norma Dumont has a nickname, it's dead weight. I mean, holy smokes, couldn't find a finish. If we gave her a map, some instructions, and told her entire career depended on it. Whereas at least Edwards has had decisions. I mean, sorry, has had finishes. That's about the sum total of my analysis. Edwards, regardless of who she fought, didn't fight, or her skills or not, has found some finishes. I don't think Dumont's ever found one, ever, even once. Maybe once she finished a birthday cake. That's about it. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, basically, Norma's middle name, should be decision queen. I mean, that's all she does. It doesn't matter who she fights. I mean, both of these ladies fought Chandler. Okay. And I think, I'm not, it's not trying to do the MMA math, but it's understanding that Chandler is a very, very mediocre fighter. And so when you face a mediocre fighter, you're supposed to put them away. Norma couldn't. She went, as we've been mentioning here by her nicknames and what we're saying, she went to a decision with Chandler. Jocelyn Edwards knocked her out. Okay, that's what you're supposed to do with a mediocre fighter. So yes, absolutely going with Edwards. I think that, I mean, Norma's road to victory is always grappling. Okay, always grappling somebody down and then not being able to put them away or do anything once you're on the ground. Edwards has the skills to neutralize the takedown, and she has power on the ground, on the feet, and isn't afraid to throw down. Man, I mean, she will go out swinging. Okay,
Mm.
so much more exciting fighter. Look for Jocelyn Edwards to win. You know, unfortunately, I'm going to go by decision because I think Norma is skilled enough to stay away from the knockout punches and make this a snooze fest.
I would have been something I said. I do think Jocelyn finishes her for a second round knockout, just because I mean Dumont only knows how to roll around on the ground, and Edwards does have. I think she can find him. She's got kicks. I think she actually finishes her. And in a way, I think Dumont wants to be finished. Somebody wants to not no longer be in the UFC after this fight. They're on a main card. They're at the top. I don't know that Dumont ever sees anything this good again. So at least she gets to go out with a bigger paycheck and do whatever it is she does for her day job. Let's go to the next thing. Why don't you tell me how you got after how you picked Rafa Garcia and Alexander Hernandez?
Okay. All right. So let's put up their bios here real quick. Okay.
Ha. Yeah, I guess I missed one. Just go ahead.
All right. Okay. So basically, at one point, Hernandez was the shiny new toy man. Okay. He was the guy who was supposed to climb to lightweight glory. And then he ran into Cowboy Cerrone. He was super cocky. He was talking crap about Cowboy Cerrone, and Cerrone put a beat down on him. And Hernandez was never the same. Okay. But on the flip side, you have Garcia, who was never a shiny toy. Okay. He's an average fighter, man, with a checkered past. Okay. So I'm going to go with the once diamond in the rough that was never cut into a gem over the lump of coal that never hardened, man. Look for Hernandez to, just simply have more in the bag, have more skills than Rafa Garcia. We're talking about two very, middle of the road fighters now at this point, and I just think that Hernandez has more power, more skill, and therefore is going to take it with a KO in the second.
I mean, that's a that's a thing. Um, I get it, right? These are two never greats. Except I look at Rafa's, he's higher production on occasion. Um, and his most recent loss is against Grant Dawson, which is no shame. But when he starts throwing, he throws high volume. Okay. Um, it was just last year we saw him against Jared Gordon. It was the same card as Lopez and Silva. Remember, that was a great card. He did very well, right? He ends up knocking out Jared Gordon. He hits 91 strikes, and most of them were significant, right? He's had 141 before. This guy, when it's time to produce, he throws and he throws in volume. Okay. Um, and particularly more recently. I mean, earlier part of his career, not as much. I just think he's trying to grow and develop as a pure striker. Um, and his strikes per minute is fairly high. It'd be on par with those who are at the top 10. Um, there's just something about him that's just slightly, but I agree with you, right? This isn't like some amazing clash of those destined for greatness. This is those who are like, hey, this is my job. I showed up to work today and I decided to hit someone. I get it. That's how these guys are. But the same token, it's also a chance, I think, for one of them to redeem their careers. And I've seen zero redemptive capability out of Alexander Hernandez. He's UFC filler, right? And look, we don't like to say bad things. You know how hard it is getting this octagon, how hard it is to train, cut weight, get in there, do your job. I get it. It's just some people have it, some people don't. I think Rafa is still capable of doing it, and I really look at that last fight of his, and even his loss. He looked very good. He looked very good against Dawson, even though it was he got knocked out. It wasn't like he was taking chances. It was an enjoyable fight. So yeah, I'm taking.
He got worked, man. Are you kidding me? He got worked.
He
I
had good moments.
Hey,
I look
it's your
past.
pick. It's your pick. That's
Hey, I've had crazier picks go, but I'm taking a decision because
okay.
he will crafty his way to kind of a boring fight. It is going to be boring. This is boring number 3.
I
Now it gets
disagree.
better after
I
this.
think he's gonna. I think he's gonna craft himself into like a Hernandez elbow and go down. oh, oh,
We don't
man.
disagree this much, really. Like I get you. Okay, hey, hey, let's change up pace. Why don't you go again and lead us into Davy Grant and
Yeah.
Martinetti?
Look, man. This is an easy one. Martinetti is Dana White contender series standout. Okay, great fights, great pace, great skill, fast. Grant is an entertaining but mediocre fighter, man. This is Martinetti's coming out party. Okay, and he's gonna deliver. He's faster, he's younger. It's just I think he's younger. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's younger. So
I think everyone's younger than Davy Grant. Everybody on
yeah,
the planet.
yeah. So I think this is an easy one. I think that Davy Grant is gonna give it his all. He's not a boring fighter. He comes to fight, and so unfortunately, I think that's gonna mean a KO in the first.
See, I unfortunately watched a lot of Grant's fights, and I think the Brits have this term called a scouser. I think that's what he is. This is just one of those guys. Like I don't know where he's actually from, what town, but I'd imagine he's from a place like Manchester, where it's just like you grow up fighting because hey, what else is there to do in Manchester?
Because you got to go to school, and of course somebody just jumps you
Yeah, yeah,
at every
like
corner.
yeah, it's the blue collar, street savvy part of not everything is London, right? This guy's a scouser. He takes as much damage as he gives. He does have sort of a spotty, but he's just one of those characters, if you will, in the UFC that just is a kind of part of that. We were talking about it earlier at work. It's like you just got guys who show up and they fight and they're willing to take any fight. They're willing to do anything, even if they take some damage. That's Davy Grant. Martinetti is an unknown. He's had a fight on TV, right? Like on a show associated with UFC. I mean, I know he's got his regional or whatever, and he didn't finish Volodine. I know there's more of a B in there, and he just fought last week, right? Remember that was one of the craziest fights ever. Guy's face is split in half, but he couldn't finish him. And remember, Martinetti is the larger, more skilled, look more polished with more actual power. He's significantly bigger than Volodine. Volodine is a tiny, wee man. He's just itty bitty man. This guy had every advantage and couldn't finish Volodine. He had him literally walking dead. Blood, so much blood, I even looked away and still didn't finish him. In fact, couldn't finish him to the point where the loser got a contract too. That's not a good look for Martinetti. Davy Grant knows too much about fighting, too much about this to be knocked out. Yeah. Oh gosh. Here we go. Another decision. I wish Martinetti had all that power. I wish he would do it. I think he can find his chin. I just question if he actually has power. Just because you cut someone open doesn't mean you have power. There's a lot of different ways to cut someone open. A little bit of an elbow. This doesn't mean you got real power in your fists. Watch Davy Grant, who isn't chin proof, right? He's not knockout proof, but he is also hard to knock out. Davy Grant's too old, too seasoned. He actually schools Martinetti. You got to remember, Volodine, the other half of that pair, had was it a split decision or a majority, whatever? Like, it didn't go that great for Volodine. He didn't get that amazing win. I don't think Martinetti does it again. And I think I do pick Martinetti just because they're going to give him a pity decision because Grant's done, right? They don't care, right? He's just there, so Martinetti goes forward. So, do you disagree? Obviously, you do, right?
Yeah. I think Martinetti's gonna KO him. So that's I do disagree.
Yeah, right.
Anyway,
Okay. So here, what's up next?
okay, so we have Montel Jackson against Leone Barcelos. Tell me what you think, Bad Jim.
Who I think I actually, after our last conversation, which was what, a handful of hours ago, I said, and I'm going to triple down on it. This is my stone cold lock of the week. Montel Jackson is an insane pick. If you're picking Jackson, go out, get some mental health, like whatever it is, like maybe watch more videos. I watched like while I was cooking, cleaning, doing all my stuff before our podcast. I watched all the videos. Well, yeah, a certain speed. Barcelos is the guy who dislocated his shoulder, pops it back in, and his coach said, just pop it in, it'll be fine. Literally, that's in the quarter audio. Oh, just pop it in, you'll be fine. And then he wins. Barcelo finds ways to win. Not good ways. It's not like he's not like some brilliant fighter. He's just this weird grunt who just wins. Yeah, he'll lose from time to time, but he's indestructible, feels zero pain, and it's not like he's dumb. Like, he does have some fight IQ, does have some sense. Look, he's worth a scramble or two. So don't think you're just going to submit. This guy doesn't get submitted, really. So it's not about how does Barcelos beat Jackson. Is what the heck can Jackson, who is of very average talent. When I say very average, I mean if there was a picture of average in the dictionary, particularly for people and statistics, he would be there teaching the class on what average is. What one thing has Jackson ever done that's even remotely interesting or shows any real capability to go against somebody who's virtually indestructible? Tell me how I'm wrong. So I am taking Barcelos in a submission in round double dose.
Wait. You think okay? So you think that Barcelos is indestructible? Okay. All right. Now listen. I'm with you on in some respects that Barcelo is well seasoned. He's fought some interesting people. But dude, the issue is that I mean the guy okay, the guy has fought some just mediocre people, man. He couldn't even put away Garbrandt. Everybody and their mother can like knock out Cody Garbrandt. Okay, he had to go to the decision with Garbrandt. Um, it's he's just too old. I mean, this is the situation where you actually have a fighter who is just too old. All right, so yeah, so he's sneaky. He knows his stuff. He tries to like take you down and mix it up, and he's okay on the feet. But Montel Jackson, watching him move and everything, I just think that he's well. Number one, he's got youth on his side. Okay, he's also got reach. He's a patient fighter, and simply put, I just think he's gonna like neutralize Barcelo's takedowns. That's it. If you neutralize Barcelo's takedowns and you have a reach advantage and can outstrike him, you're going to take the decision. So I'm taking Montel Jackson beating Barcelos by decision. Again, given paying homage to Barcelos that he's a veteran and he's gonna know how to like stay away from getting like knocked out, like you said. He's durable, but he's just not winning material in this fight.
I gotta just I am gonna do some MMA math. I'm with you. Everything you said sounds right. I just want to say Jackson's coming off a loss to bad Figgy, not Figgy of the past who was good, current Figgy who's struggling. He lost to current, not great Figgy. It's interesting. Yeah, he beat Damone Blackshear, but I think we've all realized Damone Blackshear's the bad. I haven't seen anything in any of his previous fights that showed an ounce of good. Just think about Barcelos is on a ridiculous win streak. Quinones is where he said, "Hey, that was a good fight," and he did sub him with a broken wing,
I just
right?
I just have a problem when you okay. I I agree that he's on a win streak. I wouldn't put Quinones, Talbot, Garbrandt, and Simone as a ridiculous
Wait,
win.
wait, wait. Talbot, Peyton Talbot. That's not he. He listen. You don't give him. By the way, the Garbrandt fight was good. Garbrandt looked good that
Yeah,
night,
it was a very entertaining
and
fight. Yeah.
I'm going to give you a point because
I'm probably gonna lose this one, but I just
he he's been he's been knocked out. Guess who knocked him out? Just not Mr. Knockout. Like it's not a good look. Umar knocks
Who,
this guy out.
Cody.
You're like, no. Barcelos gets knocked out by Umar Nurmagomedov. I said it.
Oh
Yeah, it's not good. Like you need to go home for a while, and, like change your
yeah,
name,
but
maybe
that's
get a new
because
driver's license. That's bad.
yeah.
Oh, I feel bad, and like I felt bad for him. That's why people don't pick Barcelos because it's like you shouldn't that shouldn't happen, right? Anyway, let's get to the next.
Yeah.
I mean, the next fight's the best fight on the card. Come on, man. What do
Oh
you
my
think about
lord! Look
Buchecha?
at these two. Look at these
It's
two
blob.
guys. Okay, look, man. Um, I'm not even going to give that much of a technical background on this. I just can't stand Ryan Spann and his fighting. I'm just gonna put it out there. I think this guy is just he's just not very entertaining to watch. I think that they're basically he's probably the sacrificial lamb of this card. They probably just say, okay, listen, Span, this is it. It's time for you uh, to just go away. You've had a long career here. You tried it out. You know, you gave it a go when when you were younger, but now it's just not gonna work out. And so I think Buchecha is just he's just too young and too strong for him. So I'm gonna go with Buchecha KOing Span in the third. How do you see it?
Uh, you and I are pretty close. I'm gonna make an update here to our graphic very quickly because I actually think it's not the third. I think it's the first because there you go. That's what Mr. Span is at the moment. There you go. Put that up here. Say slideshow. Now we can see it. He's the human sacrifice.
Span is getting submitted, my man. He is getting submitted.
What do you mean? You have him as a knockout. So do I.
No, have him as a finish, but not a really.
Uh, I had AI. Hey, dudes, we've had a bad day with AI.
Oh, okay. Just leave it as a knockout. He'll use his submissions to I don't know ground and pound him. It
Yeah,
really,
I'll take it.
it's. I'll be honest. It's like I haven't watched enough of Buchecha's fight. I know that most of his wins are by submission, but I mean, crazier things have
But
happened, and
he
Ryan
has
Spann
two
is
fights with UFC.
Yeah, that's the thing. So
I mean,
he's been
one
fighting. Yeah.
and one's a draw against somebody who has more vowels. I think he has all the vowels in his name. Every single vowel in the alphabet is the
Yeah.
guy. Like I can't. Like, hey man, I understand languages are hard, but damn, that guy's got some vowels. Like, there's there's a K and a W together. Like, what sound is that? Like we don't know anything about Buchecha. What we do know is that Span is the worst fighter ever. He's lost to Anthony Smith. Oh, wait, let me just keep. Let me collect myself. He lost
Well,
to Fat Acosta, the worst overhyped, most overhyped, worst heavyweight prospect in the history of all fat
Waldo,
people. Oh, I hate him.
here's the
Terrible.
thing. He did
But
have
he
a.
lost. But he
He
beat
actually
Reyes.
beat OSP. Wow.
Yeah. He
Wow.
but he beat Reyes. How? Because like this is the heavyweight division. Nothing
Yeah.
makes sense. Up is
The
down,
college.
left is right. This will
Yeah.
probably get
Maybe.
called on the account of Meteor. Like, this is a dumb. Like, we had to stop booking heavyweight fights. We
He has a
saw
win
Hawkett and
against
Blades fight. I
Kutalaba,
don't
dude, too.
what?
Man,
Uh,
he has a
yeah,
win
he beat.
against Kutalaba, too.
I don't understand this division. I want to, but he loses to
Yeah.
Walker.
Yeah.
Like,
It's look, man. It's just a coin flip with Span. Okay, like I said, like the guy's gonna go out there and probably just throw a haymaker, and if it lands, he wins, and if it doesn't, he gets something bad gets done to him. So,
I
so
do. I like the KO. I like the KO. Yeah, I see this as ground and pound. I would agree with you. This is like Spans on the ground, just getting ritualistically abused, and it is.
unless
But
unless Span comes up with like some weird spinning back fist that catches Buchecha, yeah, I think we're looking at a ground and pounder. I agree with you.
so, real quick before we wrap up here, let's talk a little bit about the AI picks.
Yeah.
We realized last week we're all human and AI too. Like it, it not last week. We just pretend like last week's card didn't happen. That the Canadian mess is just contained to Canada. And we're sorry, Ken. We're sorry about that card. But yeah, it was almost like an insult to Canada. I feel bad about it. Um, Look, AI is really, I would just basically like, AI is bad because they're picking Norma Derma. You're like, I love you. There's some really
Mhm.
good picks here. Martinetti in a submission would be very interesting. I,
Hey,
I
look, man.
read the analysis behind it and I had like all the right bells and whistles. I'm afraid that might actually happen. Jackson, that's fine. Buchecha submission in round one. That's interesting.
Very
Um,
interesting.
I just say these are not wrong picks. I just don't know. Like when you talk about AI hallucinations, you're like, yeah, must be hallucinating Norma Dermott winning on the decision. Watch it be right, and we're all sitting around going, crap, AI is good, right? Anyway, that's it, man. I think it's a look. This is a filler. Let's just remind everyone, this isn't the worst card ever, but what comes after this is a string of amazing fights from top to bottom. We're about to see the beginning, the real beginnings of the Paramount era. This we're talking about fights we've been begging for, fights that make sense. Like I don't know that we've ever seen it this good. We're about to see the best ever this year. I'm gonna say this. This may be the best second half of the year in the history of this sport.
Good deal. Well, on that note, thanks everybody for joining us. And until the fights, have a great time. And we'll see you when we recap. Bye bye.
Bye.